Well, hello, and welcome to the first Amused to Death video review. You might know us from the Total Entertainment Forever podcast.
Or you might not.
Probably not, but...
Judging by our numbers.
Yeah, my name is Andrew, and this is Nick, and this is our big silver screen debut.
Yes, our debut is going to be a review how-to of the new Joker movie, out in theaters right now, as of this video's release, and I'm sure you've probably already heard so much about it. The internet floodgates have been long opened. The ink has been long spilt about this particular film. And we're going to talk about it as well, but to sort of, I guess, add another layer to our discussion.
To differentiate us from the dozens upon dozens of other people
of
who
all
this film.
of all the
Trash hot
bloggers and professional thinkers. Well, we're not thinkers, we're doers. And what we're going to do here is we're also going to give you a makeup tutorial, and then after we're done, alright, you too will be able to be a twisted reflection of the society that you live in. Just like our friend here,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Arthur Fleck, the Joker, the clown prince of the clown prince of crime. And without further ado, I think we should talk about our opinions.
All right, so Nick, you go first.
And apply the makeup.
Before you do that, though, the first step to really capturing this look, and the most important, is you want to get a really good smear of white all over your face. Lay it on thick. Don't hold back.
Oh, no.
Again, for emphasis, smear. Get it good.
Yes, you wanna pretend that you're a colorblind Justin Trudeau. just cover your face all over with it, man.
Today we are using because usually I think the makeup people they'll let the people know what exact products to use.
That's
We're
true.
using Spirit Halloween. They're $3 makeup crayons.
That's
and grease makeup. So not a very pricey setup.
No, in fact, very cheap.
Very cheap.
So if you ever want a cheap costume, I was actually surprised about how cheap these products were.
So do you wanna start talking about the film?
Oh,
Your
absolutely,
take? Yeah.
absolutely. Well, as I'm applying the makeup, I'm going to say that my take on this film is that I overall liked it. And I think that if comic book movies are going to continue to be, as I suppose, prevalent as they're going to be for, I'm assuming, a very long time, I hope more swings are made that are similar to this, because I think there are aspects of this film that are pretty risky, more so than many other comic book films of the modern era. What do you think?
I agree. I enjoyed it a lot for the same reasons. One of my main complaints on the podcast about the sort of ubiquitous nature of these superhero films is that there's not enough sort of bits and pieces of other genres sort of fused in there. And Joker actually does a pretty solid job. It works in some psychological aspects you don't see at all. In the mainstream comics. Sorry, it's hard to smear and talk at the same time.
That's all right. We'll learn.
But if I went into this not knowing that it was a DC property, not knowing it was based on the character from Batman's Rogue Gallery, it'd be still a solid film. It didn't need sort of the boost from I don't know, sort of the clout that's afforded to it. This is something. Also, I'm channeling Cesar Romero's Batman.
Yep, putting it right over the mustache, right?
Joker from the '60s Batman show.
No, I have no idea how this is going to affect my face, so I just shaved to be safe.
Yeah.
And hopefully it works out. But yeah, you know how I would describe this? You know how Marvel has those what if comics?
Yeah.
And DC has the Elseworlds stuff. I would describe this film as an Elseworlds or what if story. It's what if Joker was made by a film student that just graduated and is a big fan of Scorsese movies.
Like Scorsese, yeah, but it wasn't enough to just do something straightforward. He wanted to add some dark, edgy aspect.
You got a little. I don't even know what the hell is.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Did some hair. That's not important. All right, definitely make sure you get under the eyes. Also, you don't want to miss that spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, some of my favorite bits of this film, I think the performances are really strong, all around. Specifically, from Joaquin, he brought the heat. That's how I knew this film was going to be pretty good. Sort of inspired some faith in me is when they announced him as the lead. Robert De Niro's in it. He plays sort of a hammy 60s, 70s sort of late night variety talk show host and brings that energy very well.
If any of you have seen The King of Comedy, he basically plays the Jerry Lewis version of... Well, he plays the Jerry Lewis role in this film. Wow. We are looking good. I gotta say, this is a good smear. So... now that our faces are all white, are you ready to move on to the next step?
Yeah, before we do that, let's talk a little bit more about the film.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, another really big positive about this film in my eyes is the set pieces, just sort of the ambiance that it affords. It really depicts Gotham as this run-down, gnarly sort of like New York City circa 1970s.
Right.
It really... shows the seedy underbelly, and it provides a really good backdrop.
It's shot really well too.
Oh, yeah.
I like a lot of the set dressing involving like the trash, like literally everywhere you go and stuff. It just looked gnarly, and it's not a place that I would want to live in. What I also appreciated about the film was the score, which was made of like these shrieking strings and these pounding drums that got more intense as the film progressed, and as Arthur's sanity sort of, what's the term for the opposite of progressed?
Degraded.
Degraded, yeah. You kind of hear it get louder and louder, and there's a lot of scenes, I think, that wouldn't work as well without the score. And the score is made by some woman who I'm not even gonna try to.
It's an aggressively Swedish.
I'm not gonna degrade her name by even trying to pronounce it. But this is her first fully composed score. She worked in the music department for things like Arrival and The Revenant and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It had a very highbrow horror sounding soundtrack.
Absolutely.
A lot of the, like you mentioned, the high pitched strings wouldn't sound out of place in an A24 movie.
I'm a big fan of the score, and it really did help with some of the horror elements that were in this film that were definitely present. It's fine.
Okay, so next step on the makeup, you want to get the triangles that go above and below his eyes. And for this, we have a nice blue crayon. And you don't want to be perfect here. You want to color outside the line. Show that your mental state is it's on the fritz. It's on the rocks.
Yeah.
Exactly. Also on the rocks. Oh, this is not working very well. Hang on, some technical difficulty. Oh, wait, I got it.
Oh, man.
It's just because, the skin underneath the eye is...
It's, there's, a bone that I'm sort of, trying to... to fucking... Oh, my God.
It's fine. Anyway, also on the rocks, the state of Gotham City. As we mentioned before, it's looking bad, it's looking gnarly, and they sort of use that to tie in some political undertones.
There are political undertones in this film, yeah. I would say Thomas Wayne, way more so than his other depictions, he's closer to fucking Donald Trump than he is anything else.
In this one.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit. And the reason I think that this was supposed to be some kind of direct reference to Trump is because, well, A, he's just a rich piece of shit. And, by the way, speaking of clowns doing crimes, President Donald Trump, ha ha ha, man, the jokes just keep coming. But, he's also running for office as well. And, it's depicted that some of the citizens, including Arthur's mother, are, desperately hoping that, that he will, try to help them. And, just like in real life, she turns out to be completely deranged. Because he does not give a fuck. At all. And some of the interactions that Arthur has with Thomas and the Wayne family are really cool and interesting, especially regarding some of the revelations within the film that we're not going to spoil. Uh, and it's just kind of interesting to me. Wow, this is looking terrific so far. That you remember the scene where he is talking to Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
That to me is just interesting, just in the sense like where these two characters have so much like history, and then you're seeing like an adult version of one character talk to like a child version of another, and it's like in a world that's sort of, similar to a lot of the ones that we've seen, but also very different.
I think that's another reason this movie was so strong, maybe compared to like prior DC efforts, was there like no like ham-fisted attempts to cram it into like an extended universe.
Yeah,
like, it operates within its own vacuum.
Yeah, and rather than try to ape the Marvel formula, which is what DC has been trying and failing at for so long, years now. And I feel like maybe they might have found a way to compete with Marvel, and that's literally just to do the opposite. And
Just
have
really strong, like freestanding movies.
Yeah, some auteur-based cinema that just happen to be comic book related, like based on the comics. You can hopefully maybe give the directors a little more free reign. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff here that kind of mixes up the source material in ways that is not very common, and I'd be down to see that, a little more of that. Wow, you're looking good. I see that you decided to go for the bigger triangles. That sounds good.
Yep. All right, so moving on to the final step. This one's a big one. You're gonna get a lot of use out of this red crayon.
Let's put a smile on that face.
A lot of use out of this red crayon. We're also getting a lot of use out of the theoretical, metaphysical red crayon as we put some notes on this film. Some corrections. Things we didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Is what I was going for.
Okay,
like
alright, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I never paid attention to school.
Alright.
So let's put this on, and we'll talk about things that we didn't like. Which are not that many, but if I had to have one main complaint about this film, it's that the story itself was perhaps, I don't know. There were certain things about it. I don't want to get into spoilers, like I said. Oh, wow, that looks like shit.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because, you know what? I am a reflection of our society. It doesn't have to look good. Also, this tastes bad, too. But, there were certain things about the story that I didn't think worked. Just a few smaller details. I would have to see it again to really know how I feel specifically about what the political undertones are supposed to mean. However, I do like that they're there. There are things that I didn't care for, like what do you think about them making his laugh like a medical condition?
I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems strange that I guess I'm supposed to think that this condition exists in this universe.
I mean, that might be one of my favorite bits, because that really plays into how I mentioned sort of the psychological aspects. Like, it just makes things really tense.
Yeah, it does.
Like, these situations that are, like, very uncomfortable already, and, you might think they might stray toward violence, and then he starts, like, this cackle.
Yeah, it's just like an uncomfortable guy, and it's really good.
Makes things more uncomfortable.
It's really fun to see Joaquin do like that as a performance. But I'm just thinking about the logic in universe. If this like neurological disease exists in this universe, then why, like, whenever he does the cackle, you think that there would at least be one person that recognizes it as some kind of medical affliction? Because everyone like reacts immediately like, "The fuck's so funny, asshole," and then like
it could be very rare.
And then 2 seconds later, just tries to kick his ass. I guess that's true.
Residual tails. Like, if I saw someone with a tail in public, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, what the fuck's up with that?" Like, I know it exists, but it's still like shocking, and you're not gonna immediately assume that like it's a condition that's making them laugh. You're gonna assume they're mocking you, especially if they're dressed as a clown. So I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, man, I think just if you have like that kind of thing, maybe a clown isn't the best career path for you.
I think you're doomed to be a clown.
I guess that could be possible, but I would want to run away from that.
It's like how sociopaths
personally.
are doomed to be politicians or like stockbrokers.
Yeah. I guess that could be true. I don't know. I'm just saying what I would do. I wouldn't want to be a clown. I would be like a fucking priest or something.
Oh God.
How do I look?
You're not going hard enough on the lips.
Okay, you're right. Let's continue with the lips.
Yeah, most of my problems are actually reserved in the third act, where I can't really get into them without spoiling too much. But I think it does sort of, an otherwise really tight movie sort of starts to unwind a little bit. It pulls itself back together. It's nothing that really ruins the movie, but it does sort of detract ever. That's good. That's good. Ever so slightly. But yeah, it ended up exceeding all of my expectations. Like, I have very few squabbles or qualms with this film, which I'm very happy about. I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to give it its day.
It's true.
In court.
In court, yeah.
In the carnival, to sort of make up for all
carnival
all this.
Court.
Yeah, kangaroo court, for all this just hatred that it's felt before it even came out.
Yeah, God, those. I mean, thank God that nothing has actually happened despite these.
At the time of this recording.
Yeah, at the time of this recording. Despite all these bloggers basically, like, hoping and begging that it was going to happen, but it didn't. Thankfully. There was a.
No, we don't have to get into that.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm just saying that when I was in the theater, there was, like, a second where I was like, oh man, I'm very paranoid right now. where like shit was really going down. I'm like, wait, what if someone decides to, you know, as things get really bad in the movie, or really good, I guess, for the character.
Oh my God, my hair. That's another thing. This movie does really well. Is it's surprisingly restrained.
It's
for
very
the most part.
restrained.
It's like a Nicholas Winding Refn film where it's very chill. It's very level. But when the violence does occur,
the violence is shocking,
and it's shocking. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's done very, very well.
The violence is done pretty well. Yeah, I really have no problems with it, like, viscerally. Like, it's, I don't know if I mentioned the cinematography. There's a lot of really good shots, a lot of effective shots. And, you know, we really get to see some good clowning, alright? Joaquin Phoenix, his performance as Joker is... I was kind of worried just by the look that it was going to be too similar to, like, Heath Ledger. Because, you know, it's the same, like, caked-on makeup, long hair look. But thankfully that wasn't really the case. He really kind of made the role his own, which I should have expected, because it's, like, so obvious that he's going to put in a good performance in whatever the fuck he's in. Like, I should know that by now. But I'm glad I was wrong. And that it's yet another... Joker's like fucking King Lear now. You're just going to have, like, these monster actors just portraying him.
Different interpretations.
Exactly.
Sticking to the spirit.
Exactly, for all time. And,
oh, yeah.
That's some good shit right there. Right. Here, do a nice grin. Alright? Really.
Alright. You got anything else?
Honestly, I think that's it. The makeup looks better than I expected it to be honest. Right. Not saying it's great, but what can you do?
I think for like a combined $5, and then us having no makeup experience at all, this is pretty good.
Let me make it clear how little makeup experience we have. This is our first time doing anything like this. At least it's mine. Is it yours?
It is.
Yes.
But it went so well, I might have to maybe give it a try.
I think so.
Take it up as a hobby.
This shit's easy.
Yeah. This video shit.
It's fucking easy.
It's fucking easy.
Man,
You'll see us around some more. Yeah, so I think that about does it. As we mentioned, we have a podcast. You can find us at Total Entertainment Forever on all platforms. And we will be sticking to this video format. We won't be going quite as far out for any future content.
Well, we'll see, maybe. Whatever comes up, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Anyway, without further ado, I hope you guys learn something about applying makeup to one's face. And I hope you understand our opinions about the movie and decide whether you want to see it or not.
We hope you share the opinions.
Yeah.
Please validate us.
Yeah, I think it's a movie that bears discussion, and even if you don't like it, I'd be curious to hear what you all have to say.
We should end on some Joker laughs.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Should we say something and then cut?
I don't know any good jokes. I'm not really that funny.
Neither do I. Hey, I used to think that my life was a tragedy. Then I realized it was a comedy.